through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Invincible.
Good morning, good morning. What is going on, guys? I hope we're all having a great one out here today. Wow, there goes the bell. The market just opened. The SPY is starting to move to the upside pretty well so far this morning. It did gap down a little bit around 551 and got all the way down to like 548.50, but came up very nicely from there. Rebroke 550, held it, and has now been holding above 551, which is a great sign. So keep watching for 551 to hold. So far, so good. The SPY's moving well. 552. Great breakout coming here as the bell opens. Let's hope that this momentum keeps up. We're like literally 1 minute in. We can always see reversals, but for now, pretty decent to see. Tesla holding its high from Friday as support as well. 287. Pretty perfect there. Keep watching for that to hold. Nvidia, not quite as good as the others. Not above the high of day Friday by any means, but pretty good action. I saw Peloton was upgraded by Truist this morning. That's definitely one that was on my radar, but it actually looks like it kind of has fizzled out. At open here, Plug Power up 34%. I saw they had some news this morning. Also, Big Bear AI reports later this week. They're moving up. Hims at the top of the watch list, are pretty close to it. Up to $30. That's actually pretty good. By Hims, H-I-M-S. Down in some water already today. Very nice by Hims. Quantum stocks rising up the watch list. QUBT, a lot of explosive action at open. Watch QBTS, IONQ. All three of those on fire here at open. RKLB up around the same percentage. A lot of growth stock movement here today. Shit ton, I'd say. SPY's holding very well, though, too, above 552, continuing with the good bullish momentum. So far, so good, holding its ground. I love that 551 support that it made. So far, first couple minutes in, pretty fire price action. Let's settle in here, get some likes. Let's go. Destroy that like button. Ivan said we feeling bullish. You know it. For now. See how it goes on this pullback. I'm holding Hims call. When would you think is a good time to sell? Expires July. Hims call. Expires in July. You got some time? I'm not sure when you got in. That's a big deal. But I would say overall, it seems like a fairly good thing to hold as it's been dipping a lot recently. And as long as you're buying it and holding it like off support, I think you're in at a great time if you bought it like any time last week. Yeah, if you got it any time last week, I think you're totally fine. Good morning, Pew Pew, Hunter F, YBP, Netflix, NFLX. Pulling back actually a little bit this morning. They tried to run it open, and I can see the 5-minute candle looks pretty crazy. Yeah, they ran up initially, pulled back pretty hard. Looks kind of like the SPY in a way. Good morning, Hunter. Hey, what's up, Eric? Chase, JB, Robert, Toby, Mason, TJ. And NVIDIA really pulling back here at 110. They're not keeping the momentum up at all. This is going to be weighing in on the SPY now. The bull trap starting to happen. A lot of people were calling for that this morning. Oh, I'm not going to say a lot. I saw a couple people in Discord mention it. Google pulling back down. Meta pulling back as well. Wow, I mean, look at the Mag 7. It's turned pretty red pretty quickly. Gotta love the first 5 to 10 minutes of open. A lot of back and forth. SPY actually testing now support again, 551. We'll see if it holds this time or not. Not super confident in it, but it has been pretty good so far. Christian said, let's go Tesla. TSLA, if I could type right. There we go. Tesla looks pretty awesome. Wow, they held support and are bouncing right back up off 287. They're like leading the way in a lot of ways here. Even if there are some other stocks starting to come up, Tesla's definitely leading the way here out of Mag 7. SPY's holding 551 still. All right. Good job, Tesla. Keep it going. Let's see if some of this can spill over into like Google and Amazon and Meta. Looks like Apple's trying to turn over. Same thing with NVIDIA, actually. NVIDIA Just broke below its recent candle. Weird. Posting a new low. Same with Apple, actually. Wow. This back and forth action is pretty intense here at open today. Pretty volatile 1 minute candles, I'll say. Like, look at that candle on Tesla. It starts at like 292.30 and goes all the way down to like 289.30. That's a $3 1 minute candle. Which isn't that unheard of. It's just fairly large. This is what it looks like zoomed in. Look at all these wicks. Bigly even, Tangi said. Bigly. That's my favorite word. I think Trump taught me that one. No, I'm kidding. I think I might have heard it there, though, but I don't know. I played my best round of golf ever this past weekend, which was kind of cool. Granted, it wasn't the best course, but it was definitely the best I ever played. Shot a 72. But it's only 5,400 yards long, so don't get too excited. SPY really holding 551 still. That's awesome. You know the craziest thing? It was like a par 66 or something. So I still shot like 6 over, which is kind of crazy to say. I think. Something like that. Yeah, I had like 4 or 5 birdies. But a couple bogeys and stuff mixed in, of course. But like the most birdies I've ever had. It was definitely exciting. Man, SPY's getting exciting, though. I like the way it's still holding its ground. That's awesome. Tesla bouncing a little bit at 287. Big resistance up here at 292.60, 292.50. I've had it very close to just 292, but we can call it 292.50 if we want to. Be more specific today. Hell yeah, nice round. Let's go. That's going to make me want to get MODG. It's actually been a long time since I looked at this one, or it feels like a long time. Man, MODG has been getting crushed. It is pretty close to major support, though. It's kind of getting me excited. Little double bottom going on. Top Golf, Callaway, MODG. Man. It's a tough one, though, with the way it's been falling. That's pretty brutal. It didn't even enjoy the 2024 or 2023 run. Sean went and hit flighted wedge shots for 2 hours yesterday. Wow. That's actually why I did so good, man. My wedges were on, and that's really why I was able to do decent. Normally, my wedges aren't very good, and I was just hitting good shots at that. Flighted wedge shots, though. That sounds fun. So you mean like flighted down, right? What's up, Chill? Look at Palantir on the daily chart here. I've been eyeing this one up on the daily, and I've been like, wow, how is it so close to all-time highs? You know, it's very close. 10% off. Well, I guess we should do it. 10.6% off from the high. Not too bad. Looks pretty dang close. It just moved like 15% in 2 or 3 days, so it could definitely move a 10%. Gotcha, yeah. That's what I thought, Sean. That's been the only way I've been able to hit him right now, Sean, because it's so wet and mucky out here. I have to kind of like punch him, if that makes sense. Feels like I'm like punching it. It's weird. And my club sticks into the mud. And it feels awful. It gets some spin though. Tesla resistance 292. Looking at the daily here, Tesla's in a pretty clear range. There's a big range going on. How about that Huawei news? That was some pretty crazy news with Nvidia. I wonder how they're going to react to that today. So far, they've actually been down pretty well. You know, they gapped down. They've been moving down since open. They're trying to come up off the base a little bit. They're not looking near as good as Tesla, for example. Obviously, two totally different companies, but Nvidia, with that Huawei news, not the best thing to hear. That China is getting going on an even better chip to compete with them. Oh, I must have closed the article, but I normally keep them open. It said Nvidia to 70. Oh no. I don't know about 70. That would be pretty bad, but it's not totally out of the equation, probably. Whenever you go and you look at the way some of these stocks have ran up in the recent years, it gets you thinking of that dot-com bubble of the 2000s. I like going back and looking at Intel during that one, because they never came back from it, which is kind of funny. Like, Nvidia kind of reminds me of Intel during the dot-com bubble, you know? Let's go back to Nvidia here. Obviously, two different companies now, but Intel was one of the top dogs back then. The average launch angle on tour players is 30 degrees. I would have to see what that looks like in person. Let's see. Okay. Interesting. I'd have to get on a monitor to know if I was doing it right. Tansy Man says, needs a bargain. Hey, I'd take it at 70 probably. Look at Advanced Money Destroyer popping off today. That's awesome. AMD, $97 here. Great job by them. Tesla bouncing and holding, doing very well above their high of this morning in pre-market now. Just extended above after a lot of consolidation here. Little consolidation or coil going on. Sand wedge is 56, so they are leading the shaft forward a lot. Gotcha. I actually do that quite a bit on like chips and wedge shots. I never know if it's good or not, because then I see like Rory McIlroy and he'll do like a flop a lot of the times, and I'm like, oh man. But I'm not good enough to do that, so I just hit it low like every time, honestly. I try to with a wedge. But I naturally hit it high, which sucks. So SPY 560 end of the day, Jose says. You know, 560 would be one hell of a number. I don't know that we get there, though. Watch 554 coming up first. That's the first major resistance I have.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I down.
There's been quite a bit of resistance there. I'm going to go back to like a 15-minute chart and go look at like how, let's say, 555 and 556 have looked here. Or 554, 555. A lot of action at 554. I really like 554 a bit better. But even 555, both have had it. I'll call it like a $1 range.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Oh, I got you, Sean. Yeah, I got you. Like, more full shots. Yeah. I can't even do that if I tried from that far. It'd be very hard for me. Maybe putting it back in the stance or something. But what's up, Mario? Watching a lot of good action this morning so far. A lot of great PA. Tesla's still continuing. Looks awesome. They're pulling back a little bit right now, but nothing too crazy compared to the overall move. We'll see if we get a continuation going on these stocks or not here today. Nvidia has been one that pulled back pretty hard at open, but it's coming back now a little bit. They had that negative Huawei news yesterday.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I
Oh, that's pretty cool, Sean. So you're saying from like maybe from like further away you might take like more club and like hit it less, you're saying? Man, Nvidia bouncing here a little bit like 109. That makes sense. That makes sense. Nvidia here. See if it can get a nice hold or not. Looks like it's rejecting off resistance. In a weird setup so far this morning, though. Wait, it pulled back. Tesla's actually now back under 292. We'll see if it holds this support here at 291 to 290. It's going to be a big area for it to try to hold. What's up, Grass? Good morning and happy Monday. Mario, can you tell me how far Hood will go up? I mean, man, I need like a crystal ball for that one, but let's see. Looking at the daily chart, I like how it broke resistance today. It needs to hold above $50. If it can hold above that today, I think that would be a good sign. If we start to see a big pullback underneath 50 again, it's going to start to get a bit brutal as maybe it comes down to retest the low of the day. I like it. I don't love it right here, though. It's kind of weird price action today on this weird up and down swing. I would probably say 52 today would be like a max, somewhere around there. I wouldn't try to hold it much past that if you're day trading. Yeah, it's been really back and forth, grass, seriously. What's up, Gilly Gallo? Switching over to SPY. Checking it out again as a test 552. Trying to hold this as little support here intraday. Not bad. Hopefully we can continue this nice bull trend of the morning. We'll see how far it turns over. Let's go back to the Mag 7, see what we're looking like here. Okay. Not the best PA out of the Mag 7. We need these V-shaped recoveries to really keep going. In Apple's case, it's actually dipping pretty hard. I like how Meta and Google and Microsoft and Amazon here, these four on the right, are starting to kind of have a V-shape back up, but they're right at that resistance again, and not looking the best. Not looking the best. A little mixed. Grass said Intel's on the up. Whoa! Intel really is moving today. There we go. Coming back amazingly well after that earnings drop last week. That's a great recovery move by them. Whoa. Yeah, they're pretty close to the top of the watch list even. Damn. NIO has been on fire a lot this morning. They're maybe pulling back a bit now. Going back to Intel, though, we're going to watch it at this double top today. Looks like it wants to try to break. Let's see another good move. Have you seen Omex? No, I have not. Odyssey Marine Exploration. Is this those people who put out that submarine that exploded? The one where they used the Logitech controller? That was so weird. I'm just joking. Pretty crazy stock, though. You know, good movement. I gotta say, penny stock. Looks like it's had a big sell-off recently. It's found like a bit of a base down here. I don't know what happened to them that caused this to happen, but now they're moving back up in a crazy way. Haven't heard of them, but let's see. Confirms sufficient operational funding. Welcomes new executive order. Wow, executive order. Okay. Titled Unleashing America's Offshore Critical Minerals and Resources. Hey, there we go. Looks like they like this executive order going on. That's pretty funny. All right. Yeah, oh, Ocean Gate. That's right, Ryan. That's the name. It actually was, right? What's up, Grass? He said, bro, right before I sold my 49% portfolio stake. Oh, no. What'd you sell, Tesla or Intel? Man, Tesla pulling back under 291, 292, that's a bad sign. It's testing that low of the day and support, which is crucial from last week here. Looking rough. I guess all the bull trap calls this morning were right. I know a lot of people were like, bull trap today. For now, it actually is if you're a quick scalper. Unless you exited on the run. What's up, Rook? Let's have a great week. Hell yeah. Did right after I sold my 49% portfolio stake. Tessie. Right back to 285, 286. It's starting to pull back in a major way. Spy off a cliff? Yeah, seriously. So many pullbacks here out of the Mag 7. They all had like a V-shaped recovery and then just every single one just rejected and sold off. Like Amazon, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. They all recovered and then immediately sold off here. In a pretty brutal fashion too. We're really weighing on the SPY. SPY's going to be testing 550 here in a second, which is going to be crucial support. I think even larger than like 551 was, even though that was like the clear high and where we saw a good bounce earlier. 550 holding up around here is going to be a big deal. I wonder what we're looking like with like these lower trends going on here. I'm gonna keep my eyes on that a little bit here as 550 comes up. It could end up blasting through 550 too. Don't think it has to hold, but it's where I'm expecting a little reaction at first. I'm not really seeing a ton of news. Oh, that's right. You did buy a lot of that. I forgot about that. That was funny, Grass. Not funny, but, you know, looking back, it was a little comical. You said you put like an extra 0 or something, right? Ray sold 10% of their Nvidia stock and rotated into Palantir. Wow, interesting, Ray. So you sold 10% of Nvidia and you rotated it up into Palantir. Very interesting. You know, Palantir's been performing a lot better than Nvidia in the short term, so I can't say that I blame you, but it is weird with Palantir being a little high, but I see where you're coming from, though. Nvidia does have problems here. Looking at both of those today, they're both pulling back. $108 coming into play on Nvidia, breaking under the low of the day as we speak. Just barely.
But it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through.
Look at that pullback.
through for you.
What was the news on all that? I have been looking. I'm not seeing too much here. Really, I've been scanning the news, being like, what's happening? Not finding much of anything here. Other than the Huawei Nvidia news. That's been pretty big, apparently. I know that's a headline, but it seems like they're all really selling down. Like, what's going on here? I would have thought there was maybe some type of headline, but... Treasury Secretary Bessent was talking in pre-market. I didn't see any headlines after the market opened, though. $550's fighting back, Data Ryan said. Yeah, it is bouncing a little bit here. Little bit of reaction, getting a little Mag 7 pop back as well. We'll see if it can hold up. I feel like if I have to bet on one stock, either Nvidia or Palantir hitting 120 in the next 2 weeks, Ray said my money's on Palantir. Hey, that makes sense if you're only looking at a 2-week time frame. I'm with you there. They're pretty close to the same price, too. I probably agree, though, especially with this China bullshit. I like how you work your portfolio, Ray, how you're, moving things around a little bit in that way, but not like, totally getting out. Like you said, taking 10%. All right, let's check some of these growth stocks here. Check back in on some Pony. Starting to move a bit. Pony AI. I noticed up 16%. They got a little flat there for a minute, but man, they just powered higher here and broke $8 like it was butter. SERV is getting closer to the top. I'm going to be watching this one as it's maybe coming up off the dip a little. Intel's slowly falling back off, but granted, their stock isn't. They're just not at the top of the watch list, but getting some other growth stocks kind of overshadowing them a little bit, but they're pretty close. I like how they just broke that double top as well around 21. That's pretty fire. Good break there. Good break. Getting a lot of recoveries here. CLF pushing for its high of the day, sitting around $8.30. Grass at Intel's trying to break 21.
Like you, be strong,
It is reacting a little bit there. Hopefully it can get through. SPY bounced right off 550 back to 551 now. Pretty funny. Reese said, "Do you think Intel will continue to push?" I do. I think it will continue to push from here. One thing I like to do on setups like this is I like to measure the legs up. So I'll do this. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to go like this. Put a line up at the top here. And then I'm going to measure the legs now. So I'm going to kind of measure this out. Okay. And then we'll clone it. Now I kind of think Intel could go up around like this. Above the top of this range, I would think it could go up about the same size as that lower leg. You know, if you, oh shit. Let me reclone it. So if you took it from here, it's like 2120, but if you took it up to the top, looking at like 2150, really not too bad. I like doing this quite a bit. You could maybe drop this down and say, like, you know, it really started like right here, up into there. If you wanted to get a little safer with it, maybe like 2125. But again, if we start to see a real break, 2150 could come into play. I like how it's moving above the high of the day. It just, you know, we need that momentum to keep going. It's not always going to continue though. It'd be nice to see it hold right here. I rode SPY off 550 for a quick 12%. Last week's average was 6%, so I'm trying to learn to hold longer. Nice, Chase. Trying to hold longer, that's a pretty good thing to do. You know, I always like to say scale out a little bit. You know, get 3 contracts, maybe sell 1 or 2 at, you know, 25, 30%, then let some stuff go. Yes, need to do better there too. I feel that, Chase. Let's see Boeing here. Ticker symbol BA, bouncing around 181. Yeah, scaling out's awesome. Love to see it coming back. We'll see if it can really recover or not today. Not the best PA this morning. SPY coming back off that pullback, you know, still holding 550. It's actually testing 551 resistance again. This is the second test of 551 now. This is going to be a pretty big area here. You know, if the SPY starts to reject again, it could be pretty brutal. Watch out for that. What's up, Jason? He says, Team Tom, let's go. Happy Monday. You guys are just joining up. Destroy that like button. Let's go. 15 likes. I know we can get that a little bit higher here today.
All right, all right, all right.
Looking at the headlines hitting here. Nothing crazy again. Not right now. Go check the NASDAQ. Man, what a rip this morning, but a big letdown here. After that push. Let's do a little poll on the day. I'm curious what we think's gonna go on with the SPY. It's kind of stuck here. We're getting a little stuck. Are we gonna break down under like 549, or are we gonna keep holding and break out above the high of day at 553.50? That's the big question here on the poll. Will SPY break down below? What's up, Demure? All right, here we go with the poll. Work it up. Looks more like a breakdown, Demure said. They're touching the high or low from this morning. I agree. It looks more like a breakdown to me as well at this point. Maybe something can change, but I'm definitely leaning more down after that big rejection.
It's hard to breathe, but that's all right. Hush.
Mason said the joke of the day. Why did the frog take the bus to work? Because his car got towed. That's a pretty funny one. I have never heard that one. At least.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just
Hashtag cancel Mason. Dad jokes. That's not a bad one for Halloween for the kids again.
Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the
There are two types of people in the world. Those that can infer information from a limited data set.
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe.
Hopefully
but
feeling
that's
better.
all right. Hush.
I went to a crazy dinner last night, guys. I'll talk about it for you guys real quick. It was pretty wild. We're gonna do Tom's food session here today. So on Friday, I made a tomahawk ribeye, and I ended up not even really liking it. I wish I would have just had regular ribeyes. And then I forgot I had this dinner with my mom on Sunday, and it's like a real fancy dinner where they bring in these like special chefs, and it's like a 6-course meal, and overall it was really good. Don't get me wrong, but there were a couple weird things with it. So the very first dish was called like hamachi or something, and I was like, what the hell's that? And I looked it up. It's fish. So they bring out to us raw fish, just cut up like sashimi, almost like that. And then they had like pickled rhubarb on it and like some olive oil. And I had to eat that raw fish as like the very first thing. And I don't know, it never sat with me right after that. And then they did some like special mushroom that tasted like steak. And I just the whole time was thinking like, holy shit, for 250 bucks a person, I'd rather have went and got some big steak somewhere. But it was definitely an experience, I'll say. Hibachi is gas. I wish it was hibachi. I would have rather had that, man. I said hamachi though. Hamachi. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Oh yeah, this is what it looked like. They look just like this, in a way. Yeah, I know a lot of people probably don't like it. I don't blame you guys. I ate it, and, you know, I eat raw fish on sushi, but it's different on the rolls than it is on its own. It's a little bit more wild when it's on its own. Tangy Man likes it. Oh, yeah. Mason was excited. He's like, oh, it was the hibachi grill. Nope. I wish it was. Ford moving up pretty well today, I'll say. Holding above 10 bucks in a good way. I know last week we were looking at it, it keeps bouncing around 10, but today pretty decent hold and move, actually, so far. GM, a very similar move, not the best, but fairly decent so far today. Going back to Mag 7, lots of consolidation here. Some of them are pretty close to the low of the day, like Google, Meta. They look like they might try to go for a breakdown here. Apple even as well, like very close. See, these are some big supports. If they start to give out, that could be pretty brutal again for the SPY, which has had a lot of brutal reaction today. Sean Cornish goes, you ate some catfish bait raw. Oh. I hope that's not what I... It had something on it called pickle rhubarb. I haven't, like, really heard of that. I know what it is. It's like a red thing. But, it's interesting. Rhubarb. It tasted pretty good. I love that part of it. It, like, hid the fish, we'll say. I still can't get over the electric Mustang SUV going back to Ford stock, Tangy Man said. Icky. Yeah, that Ford SUV, I'm sure there's a lot of people that didn't like that one. I definitely wasn't a huge fan myself. A Ford SUV, definitely not the best.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard.
Blues tied up the series. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was watching a little bit of it yesterday. It came on at like noon, which was weird. Man, going through a lot of these stocks here. SPY is still stuck. Going back to the watch list. Let's go back to Pony, which is up 21% now. Pony. My gosh, we should just stick on Pony today. Screw the SPY. Let's stick to these growth stocks. Charge Point to 7%. Pretty nice. Cleveland Cliffs was moving well earlier. It's still above the high of the day. CLF. They should do a minivan Mustang now just to top it, Sean said. That's funny. I was in the city yesterday at that food thing, and there was a Lamborghini Urus that went by. I was like, wow. I was like, Mom, look at that. I was like, that thing's like 200K. She's like, no way. And I sent it to her on the phone, and she was like, oh, shit. Go check out Seed to Table. It's a butcher shop, a sushi place, and 3 other restaurants, all in a grocery store. Wow, so you pick out a stake and then they make it to you there. That's pretty cool. I thought Texas Roadhouse used to do that, but I guess they don't. I know how they like display their stakes up there. I thought you used to be able to go like pick out which one you wanted. That'd be pretty cool if you could. You know, speaking of Texas Roadhouse, I've not looked at their stock in a long time. TXRH. It's been in like a month or two at least. Let's go look at the daily. It's been dipping pretty well. You know, their stock had been pretty consistent. You know, normally pretty good to buy the dip on. They do trend down for like year at a time, not every now and again. And, you know, they've been doing it for quite a while now. Sometime over the next like few months might be a pretty good dip buy opportunity. I saw my first Rivian truck in town yesterday, Sean said. Mason said Rivian, Zicky. Although the truck is better than the SUV is a toaster. Let's see, Rivian SUV, let's see. Yeah. This thing looks like a Ford Flex. Have you guys ever seen a Ford Flex? Or it looks almost like a Ford Bronco, like the crappy one. Here's a Ford Flex. It actually looks just like a Ford Flex now that I pull it up side by side. Pretty dang close. Yeah, it has a Bronco look to it too. Like this Bronco. Yeah, more like this one. Like this. That looks pretty close. But they make a better one. It's not like the sport one. Yeah, what's this one? You know, these ones look cooler to me. I don't like these ones. Sports. This Outer Banks one's pretty cool. They're pretty expensive, aren't they? You know, like 51,000. That's quite a bit for something like this. Rivian on the daily, moving higher though. I will say, you know, looking at the trend on their stock, bouncing very well here, back to the upside. Screw what they look like. But I do gotta say the stock has been holding up pretty well. Kind of like Wranglers. Yeah, it does kind of seem like that. Tangy Man's watching Texas Roadhouse. That's one of my all house money war scalps. I'm most eager to buy more at a discount. Hell yeah, Tangy. They're a pretty good company. You know, I like them too. You know, one of my favorites. I go there a lot. They're never not crowded. Pretty fire. Oh my god, 105,000 for a Wrangler Rubicon, really? I gotta see this. Oh my god. Is this the one that has the Hellcat motor though? If it has a Hellcat motor in it, I could see it just because I know that those Hellcat SUVs cost like 100K, so. Wow. They don't even tell me. It has a V6. Oh my god, you're getting a $100,000 V6. Ew. That is bad. Look at the dash. Oh my god. It's $100,000 with this analog dash and this abysmal looking little screen. Ew. Oh my god. No, it's only 37. Okay. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay. It showed me something else here. I clicked on the 100,000 one. What the hell? That's weird. I click on it and it takes me away. It doesn't show me the 100,000 one. Oh, well. Either way, we get the point. They're real expensive. You're looking off topic? Yeah. Okay, okay. Okay, so it has the SRT Hemi, but it's not the Hellcat engine, but at least it has that. At least that makes it pretty cool, at least. So I'll give them that, but for 100K, I don't know. You could like literally just go buy this. Look, you could go buy a Hellcat Durango for 100,000, which would be, well, I'm not saying it's better than a Jeep, but man, Palantir, $114. Let's see if it can get to 115 today. It's starting to try to come up off the dip pretty well. I wonder if what we're seeing here is a coil ahead of like a big move. I'm still looking at the news today, watching for more headlines, not really seeing much coming through again. Still looking for it. Candy said Broncos are overpriced. Yeah. Tangy Man says, I'm trying to find an early 70s Valiant or Duster. I've never even heard of those. QQQ. 472.50. Starting to reject a little bit. All right, so the SPY got a little flat there. It's still just sitting around 551. Not all that crazy right now. Gonna go check on Pony AI, which has been pretty fire. Keep your eyes on Pony. They might try to make a secondary move. They've been breaking out all morning. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. There they go. $8.70. Looking pretty fire. 24% on the day. Now with Pony, every time I look at them, they're up another 5%. Plug Power is up 44%. They continued. Wow. Plug Power got weird. They were dipping and they had some news, I think, where they got some funding or something along those lines. Let me see. Yeah, Rally says new financing and cost cuts boost confidence in their turnaround plan. So that sounds good at least. They secured credit facility with Yorkville Advisors and report strong Q1 25 results. So sounds good for them. You know, 42%. I know Plug Power, definitely one that has been on our watch list for a long time. You know, looking at them, they've been really falling off and pissing a lot of traders off. We could end up seeing maybe a short squeeze or, you know, a short covering situation here. I was just about to dump Plug, Tangy said. Really? How long have you been holding for? You bought back 5 covered calls this morning for $2 a piece on ye old Plug. That's funny. Sean goes, I pay less than $200 per year in insurance and registrations on my 06 Trailblazer, and it's glorious. Haha, that's pretty fire. $200 a year. Now that's pretty good. $200 a year. My fiance has that RAV4 right now. We're trying to keep that for a few more years. Hopefully we can keep it. If we have another kid, though, it might be tough. We might have to get something a little bit bigger, but I pay triple that a month and I don't have a cool car. That's funny. Yeah, for real. You shouldn't be really paying like triple though. That's like $600 a month, ain't it? That's like Hellcat price. Plug 1.5 calls back at the beginning of 2025, or I guess more of in February. Sucks to see it moving down the way it is now, though. Mirsa, I think we are. All right, SPY. Here we go. 550 coming back into play. 550. Oh, perfect timing. The Hellcat song came on. Who would have guessed? That's pretty funny. Financial genius. There we go. Months underwater by about $1,000. I would be upset if I sold those calls for like $50 a contract, and this is my third round wheeling plug calls. Wow. I know, right, Mason? I've actually thought about that before. I've thought about that before where, like, let's say you short car loans or something. I do think that there's getting to a point where there's going to be a problem with these cars where I think I see way too many people with way too high car payments. And it's like so many people too. Because, you know, I'm in like the car scene and, you know, I love cars. So I'm in the car community a little bit. I mean, I see some of these kids that are like 18 years old making like $800 or $1,000 a month payments on these BMWs and shit. And I'm like, man, you guys are only like 18 years old. How do you do that? I'm like, you guys must be like, either your dad pays for it or something. They might, you know, I've seen a lot of bad things where they'll give people car loans and stuff who definitely shouldn't have them. Literally a Michael Burry setup on auto loans. Yeah, for real. Mason goes, if you find a way, let me know. Make sure you Google a Valiant. It's probably the ugliest Mopar of all time. Let's see. 1970s Valiant car. Let's see. Hey, this ain't too bad. I don't think this is ugly, actually. I actually like it. It almost looks like a dart. Actually, I lied. Maybe it don't. A little bit, maybe. That looks kind of like this one. Oh, they're the same chassis. It makes sense. It looks like the exact same thing. That's pretty cool. I like it. What's up, Mason? They're doing a $250 a month lease for EV Hummers. You should get his bot to do it, Mason. Sean said in the early 2000s, it was insane to see a car over $30,000 unless it was luxury. Yeah, now the median price is like $40,000 or something. Let's see what it says. Let's see. Median new car price in the USA. Let's see. The average new car price in the USA is around 48,600. Wow. 48,600. That is pretty insane. That's way higher than I even thought. Now, that's not the median price of all cars driving around, but it's the average new car price. That's pretty... I didn't realize it was that high. 48,000. Wow. That really jumped up. And meanwhile, GM and Ford are sucking and have problems. How's STLA, Stellantis? I know they're pretty rough too. Oh, even worse. Even worse. I have heard a lot of problems with Dodge / Stellantis and all those brands. Like, I've heard that you could buy, like, those Hellcat Durangos for, like, 1.4% APR or something if you wanted to. They're getting desperate with the APR deals now. Iceman, yep. Hyundai Ioniq 6 EV is a fun car to drive. Interesting. An Ioniq 6 EV. Okay. I will say a lot of those EVs and new cars, they are pretty cool to drive. Like, I enjoy a lot of the screens and all that type of stuff. Google did nothing after earnings. I know, right? I was looking for them to possibly continue today, but they did not get the bounce. They are moving off of 160 this morning, which is pretty decent to see. So maybe keep that on the radar for a bit more of like a pop back here soon. 160 is not terrible. Let's go back to the SPY, actually. Holding its ground at 550 again, holding support. Pretty hilarious. Moving up here. Decent bounce back up to 552. That's pretty awesome. I have the EV6 GT line. It's a blast. A 6-speed manual is definitely more fun to drive, but the instant acceleration is pretty fun. There we go. The EV6 GT line. Nice. That sounds pretty fun. A manual is always fun. The younger generation would not like being able to blast their 2025 rap music, Mason said. Yep. You know that. GLD calls, Sonia asked. You know, GLD is doing very well today. I have not even looked at it today at all. But it is coming back in a great way. Let's go check Barrick Gold. I was watching this one for a possible move to the downside today. And we opened up pretty high. And just obviously we're not getting that downside action from yesterday. But from last week. Crash said, good night. I'm going to get 4 hours of sleep and wake up again before the market closes. Wow, it's almost 3 a.m. Wow, are you from like Singapore or something? Yeah, you missed it, Rook. We talked about it earlier, but yeah, let's go Blues, man. 2-2. Everybody in St. Louis is all confident now. They're all like, oh, we're going to win. We're going to win. I'm not too confident yet, but I'll take it, I guess.
Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in a game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast.
Go check QQQ real fast.
I'm ready to eat up track like I'm
Rejecting off resistance pretty well. 472.50, not bad.
You know it's best to flaunt. We are hating because you
Yeah, not bad, one bit.
it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, they never just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, they never just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, shoot, yeah, shoot, shoot, yeah, shooting, shooting, yeah, shooting, shots.
Music's getting interesting here. I feel my abs are choking. Oh no, Rook. You're an abs fan? I don't think so. I think they could pull it out. That's a good series. New Zealand. Wow. See you, grass. Have a good one. I could sell a low-cost work truck to every farmer across the fruited plains, especially one the average person could work on. Look at QQQ back at resistance. We might end up getting a good breakout coming through. Let's go back to the growth stocks. Pony AI, it was up, what, 25% earlier? Now it's at 27%. Pony AI is just not slowing down today. It's pretty weird. Just continues to go and go and go. Man, Pony, $9.10, 29%, 30%. My gosh, guys. This price action on Pony is something else. It's a bit of a penny stock, but it's doing very well. It might even pass up Plug on the watch list if Plug pulls back a little bit. Which I didn't think could happen today. But I guess it's plausible.
That the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the
That's pretty fire.
playing Quidditch and my business is humongous. You would think that happens in there. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Working for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have them yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap.
Go back to Pony. 28%. Pretty insane. Hims is in third on the watch list now. holding up pretty well compared to a lot of these growth stocks. Nancy Pelosi's Tempest is moving a little bit. Actually pushing the high of the day. Tempest coming back a little bit. Let's look at that on the daily. Man, is Nancy P gonna be right again? Imagine if Tempest keeps ripping here off this dip and like gets all the way back to like 88 or 90. I'm gonna go nuts. It might be Pelosi's last trade though. I heard Trump was gonna do some stuff with congressionals and trading stocks, I heard.
Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
Yemen's Houthis vowed to continue attacks in Red and Arabian Seas after suspected U.S. attacks. Uh-oh. The Houthis are gonna keep shooting ships and stuff, it sounds like. That doesn't sound like the best news ever, but Spy probably won't care too much. Ivan said he better ban that shit because it's not fair. I feel you, man. I think that they should, you know, if it's illegal for me and you, it should definitely be illegal for them to do. But I think that they should be allowed to do like long-term holdings and, you know, stuff like that. But I don't think that they should be allowed to like buy NVIDIA call options and then pass a bill called like the CHIPS Act and then just make insane amounts of money on your calls. Then I think it's a little weird, but you know, I think if it's set up in a way where they need to report it right away and they buy it and they have to hold it for a certain amount of time or something like that would be, I think, the way to do it. Definitely throwing like a holding for a certain amount of time in there is a big deal to me.
Feeling the lumps inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control.
Tax congressional trades at 80%, Tangy Man said. 80%, wow. That'd be nuts. Yeah, I know, Jeremy. It's not technically her, but I get that.
Darkness take control. Darkness take control.
They'll probably make laws where, like, the spouse can't either, though. Probably specifically because of her, which is funny.
Breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the light.
Just make them disclose positions in real time and answer the media's questions in real time.
Every time we start locking
Yeah, I definitely don't mind they should definitely have to disclose it. And I think this, if they don't disclose it and they get caught not disclosing a position or something, then they should have that position revoked. They shouldn't just have to pay a fine or a fee. They should lose that entire position. And all gains go to the Treasury Department. Or to some charity or something. That'd be pretty funny. 400% tax on not disclosing. Yeah, like something even like that, you know, I think it's fair. They'll know what they're doing. They'll report it, I promise, if you did that. If you made that rule, they would definitely report it. Rip Tessie, well, Joe said. Man, Joe, it's getting crushed, isn't it? Under the low of the day right now, 283 breaking to the downside. Pretty rough. Nvidia might end up doing it as well. It looks like it's in a very similar setup and pattern to Tesla. Pony's still up 27%, kind of just sitting there. It might finally pull back. It has not pulled back like one bit this morning. Sony, apparently reports are that Sony's considering spinning off their semiconductor unit. S-O-N-Y, Sony. Spinning off their semiconductor group. Wow. Or unit, they're saying. It actually generated a lot of hype with this stock right here. Not a shit ton, but, you know, enough to get it 1%. Not too bad. Comparing that movement to the past few trading days, it's definitely on fire intraday. Sony's a pretty slow one. It doesn't have that big of moves. But it is approaching pretty good resistance. It'd be cool to see a $26 breakout here.
So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'll surrender it. Hold tight, hold tight.
I would love to hear Nancy answer questions on her positions in real time. I've heard people ask her questions before, and then she just says like yes or no, or it's kind of funny. I've only seen it like 1 or 2 times though. Let's see what this poll's looking like. 46 votes. Get your votes in. Also, destroy the like. 23 likes. Let's get that number up. Hit that subscribe button as well. Appreciate you guys joining up today. This beautiful Monday morning. BAC, Bank of America, pulling back a bit. Still $40 resistance overhead. Okay. Nothing too crazy right now. The bank's kind of boring today, very flat and choppy. Like from the Wolf of Wall Street can chop the credit card in half. Pretty iconic scene. What do you know about chop? We all know it here, for the most part. Did you buy those because of news is coming? Yes. That's pretty funny. Nancy, 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 why did you buy Nvidia? Are you gonna pass a bill coming up soon? She goes, yes. Gotta go, bro. Have a good day. See you later, Ivan. Hell yeah, man. Hope you did well on the trades this morning. Great luck this week. No headlines hitting at the moment. Still nothing too crazy there. Sean said Jordy's dad is becoming my favorite character in Wolf of Wall Street. Seriously, that guy's hilarious. That scene whenever he's like, why'd you spend $250,000? It was so funny. Yeah, that guy's pretty good in there. $26,000 worth of effing sides. I liked it when he's like, "What'd the sides do? Something to you?" And they're like, "Well, actually, they did." Let's see here. Power returns to parts of North, South, and West Spain. Uh-oh, looks like there was a power outage. That sounds brutal. I felt like I was eating weird food like that last night, man. 550 looking down, 549.50.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day.
Let's go check Tesla support here real quick. Go look at some areas coming up as it drops off. 280s, definitely on my watch list. I mean, that's going to be a big zone for Tesla, of course. Looking at it on the book map here, there are a lot of buyers stacked up around 280 at like 66,000 shares. So quite a bit. A lot at 281 as well. We might end up seeing like a little low of day hold at 280. We'll see it just sold off and started to slide off a little bit more. So 280 would be a pretty good spot for it to start to bounce back at. But 281 has quite a bit of buyers as well. I like both of these areas quite a bit, if I had to be honest. We could almost just call it like a $1 range or so, but don't come between Pelford's dad and the equalizer. It would be kind of funny if they made a Wolf of Wall Street 2. I know everyone's always all up in arms about the sequels. It would be funny just to have like a funny continuation of it. It doesn't have to be real, but maybe something like they do it again.
Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the lake.
I'm just kidding. That would probably be terrible. People would be up in arms for that one. But with Sam Bankman-Fried, yeah, you know, you could change the character or something. Put SBF in there. That would be pretty funny. Palantir's down, Sonia said. Pretty rough. It started selling off under that low of day. It did bounce back a little bit here, but did sell off in a pretty rough fashion, I would say. Palantir, you know, that was pretty bad, but it's coming back. And I've noticed this with Palantir today, where it likes to break the low of day by just a little bit and then come roaring back to life. Kind of as it's sliding off, it's, you know, doing that stair-step slide-off action here to the downside. I feel like SPY has actually been like that a little bit today as well, but Not quite as close. I appreciate you guys joining up today. We're probably going to call the stream there. Thanks for watching Pony with me a little bit. Pretty crazy one, actually. Still moving, 31%. I figured they would be slowing up by now. Maybe we'll see $10 today. Who knows? That would be pretty insane, right? Pretty insane. Let's go Chase, Tangi, Mason, Demure, of course. Sooner or later, the investors for Pony are going to be called bronies. Oh my god, I could see that. I used to have a kid that went to high school with us, and he was a legit brony. And I even asked him like legitimately, and he said yes and all this, and I was like, ooh. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah. I was like, nay. You know, I didn't know what to say to him after that. What do I do? Talk to him in horse? I was confused. I had an awakening moment there. That's pretty funny though, Tamir. How'd you come up with that? Calling them bronies? That's pretty funny. All right, looking at the SPY 550 support. Let's see that hold today, okay? That'd be a big level to hold. If we start to see SPY really sell off under this double bottom and this trend starts to give out, things are going to get pretty brutal intraday. You could maybe even look at like UVXY at that point. You know, back to the upside as like a quick scalp play, but... All right, let's end it there. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great one.